Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion which was presented by the member for Micoud South. But, Mr. Speaker, I wish to also make some very brief comments on the motion. The debate today, Mr. Speaker, is about the member for Micoud South's behavior when he refused to withdraw a statement and he refused to apologize. While this, Mr. Speaker, seemed very simple and very run-of-the-mill, it has caused this House to sit for a number of hours to debate this very behavior of the member for Micoud South. It is important, Mr. Speaker. Many people, many commentators will say, why do we spend so much time to debate such a motion when the member is not even in the House? He does not seem to care. He laughs at us. He laughs at everything that happens in the House. And so why should we debate this motion? It is very important, Mr. Speaker, because how can we purport to be dealing with issues of the people of St. Lucia if we do not have order in this House, Mr. Speaker? How can we do so? The member for Micoud South simply refuses to respect the rules of this House. And it is not only in this Parliament. The records will show and the evidence will show, Mr. Speaker, that the member simply refuses to respect this House. This debate goes to the heart of the behavior of the member for Micoud South over the last few years. Over and over, Mr. Speaker, he has demonstrated that not only he refuses to respect the procedures of this House, but he disregards all things St. Lucian, period. Mr. Speaker, he does not care about things St. Lucian. He does not care about the Speaker, or he does not care about the authority of the Speaker or the authority of this House. Mr. Speaker, this debate points to something else. This debate points to the very heart of the member for Micoud South, the behavior of the member for Micoud South. It points to the way he wants to make us feel. That is what it's about. This debate points to the way the member for Micoud South wants us to continue to feel. When he refuses to apologize, or he refuses to say, I withdraw, these words are not simple, Mr. Speaker. This behavior is not surface. What he is really trying to do is to say to members of this House that you are not worthy. You are not worthy to be in this House. You are not worthy to pass judgment on me. You are not worthy to tell me that I should not pay attention to the rules of this House. And that is what this is all about. He wants you, Mr. Speaker, to feel that you are not qualified to rule over him in the Parliament. He wants us, members of this House, to feel, who are we to be in government? Who are we to tell the mighty leader of the opposition what to do and what to say? Who are we, member for Micoud North, the little young one from Micoud North, the one from Jn South, who was a forester, the member for Micoud North, who made him run, the member for Soufre, whom they call Auntie, and they called her all sorts of names. When he turns around and he looks at the member for Ancillary Canneries, and he looks at the member for Micoud Central, and he looks at young Grosile member there, and he looks at the lady who make Ezekiel run, and then he looks at the member for Labrie. When he looks around again, he looks at the member for Dennery North, and he looks at the member for Micoud South, whom he tried to put in prison, and he looks at the leader of the opposition and the Attorney General, whom he did not want to sit there. What do you expect him to do, Mr. Speaker? And then he turns around, he looks at the Prime Minister, whom he said could never ever be Prime Minister of St. Lucia, over his dead body. When he looks at you, Mr. Speaker, a man of the soil, a man whom he never believes he could have respect for, what do you expect? This member for Micoud South does not believe that any one of us, far less you, Mr. Speaker, can tell him what to do in this honorable house. That is what this behavior is all about. That is what this behavior is all about. Who are we, little boys and girls, who come from the depths and the bellies of the communities in St. Lucia, to tell him what to do? And that is what this is all about, Mr. Speaker. It's not about him challenging. Do you understand, Mr. Speaker, that this gentleman challenged the very authority of the standing orders of this house? The same standing orders that he used when he was Prime Minister. Today he goes to court to challenge the very standing orders. He did not do it because he believes there is something wrong with it. And let's see what happens in the court. Because if the court determines that the standing orders of this house are illegal, what do we do then, Mr. Speaker? Do we go back to all of the rulings of this house? I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but you guide me on this. And if the standing orders are illegal, what about all the rulings that happened when he was Prime Minister? What happens with those? But because today he's asked to withdraw, he goes to the courts. Because who are we, little boys and girls in this house, to determine that he must say, I withdraw? That is what this is all about, Mr. Speaker. I'm coming there. Navini. That is what this is all about. So the motion to allow him to come back to this house, I support that fully. We never intended, Mr. Speaker, for any member of this house to be out of this house. But you must stand up, Mr. Speaker. This member for Micoud South follows no laws. He believes that he can do whatever he wants. He did whatever he wanted in the last government. And as a result of his claim of democracy being trampled, outside of the house today is a perfect example of what democracy is all about, Mr. Speaker. Perfect example. When he was the Prime Minister, there was tape all around, cordon, the Parliament, the precincts of the Parliament. All of these areas were cordoned off. All right? We could not, supporters could not walk in. If you had a red shirt in certain circumstances, you could not walk in certain places in this country. Because he felt, Mr. Speaker, that he was the boss and mighty of all the lands in this country. But today he comes to the house, refuses, when he looks around the table and he sees St. Lucia in its full bloom and glory, people representing people, he cannot take it, Mr. Speaker. So he has to disrespect and walk off and do all those kinds of things. For me, Mr. Speaker, this debate is not really about him. And the member for Denry North said it well. This debate is not really about him. This debate for me is to continue to demonstrate to the people of St. Lucia why the member for Micoud South should never, ever, ever become Prime Minister of this country again. This morning, a compromise was met with, came to the house, but immediately he left. So in other words, who are you, little boys and girls, to tell me to come and sit down in the same thing they're demonstrating for, you know. The very same thing they're walking up and down for. He has to be in the house. But he comes and he walks out. So again, it's a demonstration of who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Where are you from? Who are you? So that is the kind of attitude. So it's about how he wants to make members of Parliament feel. Mr. Speaker, don't take it to heart, Mr. Speaker. My colleagues in Parliament, don't take it to heart. What he's trying to do, Mr. Speaker, is to try to break us down. to make us feel as if we are less than what we should be in this house. That is what he's trying to do. And I don't even want to go into all of the utterances of the past. When he called us jackasses, and he said we're barking dogs. All of those things are meant to break you down and to make you feel that you're not worthy. You are not worthy of being inside of here. That is what this motion is about, to me. And they claim that democracy, we are taking democracy away. We are taking democracy away, Mr. Speaker. I recall many times, as others have said, that I have said things in the House and I've had to withdraw. I remember former Speaker Andy Daniel telling me, you have to withdraw this. And I simply said, although I think I'm right, let me withdraw. I remember so many things, but those things don't matter to the member for Micoud South because he believes he's of a different ilk. He's of a different ilk. He's not part of this group of people inside of here, Mr. Speaker. That is what, for me, that is what this is all about. And therefore, even when, Mr. Speaker, a compromise has been reached and said, okay, let's come back, member for Micoud South, come back in the House, let's have this debate, let's have this motion, and then we'll continue. He says, we are not worthy for him to sit inside of here with us. That is what he's about. And you listen to him, Mr. Speaker. This is not about him apologizing or not about him saying, I withdraw. And I predict that he's going to come back to this house and behave even worse. Even worse. Because as the time rolls on, Mr. Speaker, and the progress and the success of this government begins to bite them, and they begin to realize that they can't find any way out, so they're looking for something to cause a snowballing effect. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So they go on TV and radio and cry tears of crocodile, Armageddon, all kinds of tears. Even currently, crying tears. Crying tears. Crying tears, Mr. Speaker. Because you are asked to withdraw. A simple thing like that. And if a former prime minister, the leader of the opposition, can't withdraw because he feels that he's above this parliament, he's above this parliament, so he will even challenge the standing orders because he's asked to withdraw. That tells you something about the heart and soul of this person. That tells you something about the heart and soul of this person. So, Mr. Speaker, aujourd'hui, nous venons pour débattre en motion pour dire que même si nous avons pris une décision, qu'il est dans l'opposition, nous pour vier en parlement. Mais il pour acide avec écouter ça nous a dit. Mais côté aujourd'hui, mi site là, côté tout jump up et demonstration là yo fait, tout match là yo fait. Tout match là yo fait. Et na c'est mon match là. La teni yo de moun mais na acheté c'est mon match là. Pour venir assis dans le parlement, il parle là. Il parle là parce que pour moi, Mr. Speaker, c'est pas apologie à yo mandé pour faire qui est important. C'est pas apologie qui est important. Monsieur ça là toujours quoi il en haut nous qui il en haut nous qu'on nous pas supposé en parlement. Là il garde au lion et qui ouais c'est moun qui assis dans le parlement. Il ka quoi que dit c'est moun ça pas qualité. Qui manière c'est moun ça qui assis dans le parlement qui dit moi ça pour faire. C'est moi qui bosse. C'est ça motion ça about Mr. Speaker. C'est ça motion ça about. Monsieur Micoud South pas ça quoi. Jodi aller regarder. Il garde mon parlement Micoud North. Il garde mon parlement Jn South. Il garde Castries North. Il garde si ça mon parlement Soufouye qui ont été capable toute qualité blague, des attentes goin, toute qualité bagaille. Là il garde mon parlement en Slare. Il garde Castries North, Castries Central. Il garde Jn Tinom Sala qui ont été dit spider c'est un gros nom. Les Jn Tinom Sala mette web spider, il mate pied, il oute cool ball. Let me see garder ça. Et then il garde moun qui fait Ezekiel courir. Then il garde Delmenoff qui était jump up dit tout bagaille. Qui laisse Raza tuer whatever. Then il garde Micoud South. Et qui garde premier ministre là, il garde Mam Micoud South. La tenir nom yo te ka di li ki met là il te ka assis de côté ici mandé ça citement là il parlait il te ka venir que chaque livre au parlement go 7 livres et là il va au parlement il ka shift jacket li comme ça et il a tourné parce que c'est lui qui était ma pipi oui il te mené deux gogouilles avant tout bail là monsieur te parler monsieur speaker moun toi en tout cas yo ka espérer gars ça là gars ma chose qui non été et là monsieur ka suivre Micoud South garder et qui ouais qui laisse un site là et de là il tourne regarder premier ministre là monsieur obligé tout blé lui même qu'a dit c'est qualité c'est moun ça qui en parlement moi même ça m'a dit pourquoi moi yo déjà dit moi fini lui même c'est qu'à campagne vieux Fort Neuf so là il tourne qui garder moi et qui garder toutes ces moun ça oui la tenante yo dit moi sorta dans cave moi voler bœuf tout qualité ba yo de garder but Mr. Speaker motion ça là c'est pas about apology to sell et là il tourne et qui garde qui est-ce qui speaker Kaila un homme CDC un homme qui est avec tout le monde mais c'est pas ça qu'on pense c'est qualité moun ça qui a conduit et c'est qualité moun ça qui est au parlement so laisse ça il a vinn fou avec qui j'ai calé l'audience pour challenge loi en parlement même ça veut dire ça c'est un monde qui a quoi il trop en haut nous en cette ici qui a couillé nous toute qualité non dernier bagage là il dit jeune madame c'est un non entity il couillé nous jackass il dit couillé nous backing dogs nous c'est chien toute qualité bagage monsieur zakouillé nous comme ça n'a dit à monsieur speaker motion ça là n'a supporté mais pour moi même motion ça là c'est pas about même parlement Micoud South motion ça c'est about manière il voulait faire nous catcher about quoi nous pour succès gouvernement ça a fait yo pas ça jeune bail pour yo faire gros bagaille comme ça yo fait un match bail pour yo ouais qui manière yo ka joindre attraction mais ça pas fait Mr. Speaker so Mr. Speaker I support this motion but I put it to you Mr. Speaker that you should not let your heart be troubled. They are trying, the member for Micoud South is trying to make this about the Speaker of the House. He's trying to make it about the competence of the Parliament. He's trying to make us believe that we don't deserve to be here. He's trying his best so that we feel differently about ourselves. But Mr. Speaker, I join my colleagues and my Prime Minister to tell you that we feel good about the people of St. Lucia and we feel good about the work that we're doing for the people of St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. They are not going to derail us. The member for Micoud South will not derail us. We are going to continue to take this country to glory with the help of St. Lucians, Mr. Speaker, from all walks of life. No one is a non-entity in this country, Mr. Speaker. And that's how he's trying to make us feel. We don't feel that way, Mr. Speaker. We are confident. We are confident in our people. And we are confident in the men and women of this government who form the cabinet and who are in this parliament, Mr. Speaker. We are confident about the choices which the people of St. Lucia made on the 26th of July. And very soon, Mr. Speaker, we are going to celebrate 2 years. 2 years. 2 years, Mr. Speaker. And when you compare the performance of our Prime Minister to the performance of the member for Micoud South, Mr. Speaker, no comparison. So he's trying to challenge the standing orders of the House. He's trying to challenge the standing orders of the House. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this motion. but he's not going to derail us. And he's never going to make us feel less than we know we are. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.